Okay. All right. So I'm Sarah Hilton. I have a group called Modern Marketing for Real Estate Agents. And I was in Lisa's training a couple weeks ago. So I'm so glad that she has agreed to do ours. If you are not yet in her group, she has a group called Boost, an aspiring community, I think, for real estate agents. I'm going to link everything below so, and in the recording so you can go ahead and join her group. She's an experienced agent. I think she's closed, it's somewhere between 100 and 150 transactions in a year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
121.
121, which is crazy. So let's just say she knows a little bit about conversions. And me, myself, I struggle with converting. So she's going to give us some really good information and training on this. If you have any questions, try to save them for the end, and that way we can put them all on her at the same time. But if it kind of makes sense, go ahead and just ask it in the chat, and we could always bring it up during or afterwards. And if you just happen to blink out or and like that, we are going to record this and send it out to both of our groups. So you will be able to hold this in your back pocket forever. All right. So let's get started. Go ahead, Lisa. I'm going to let you kind of take the lead.
Awesome. All right, guys. So conversion. Okay, so I'm going to tell you something really funny. We talked about, Sarah's like, do I need to screen share or whatever, make me host so that I can be able to do like slideshow. Nope, this is how fancy I am right here. Here's my cards. That's what we do. So do I have time to make a slideshow presentation? No, don't. And it's too complicated. And that's a really good point in conversion is it doesn't have to be complicated. Like at all, converting clients does not have to be complicated, doesn't have to be, no bells and whistles. So we will talk about why that is and what you can do to be able to convert your clients to work with you, to not leave you, to want to work with you, really is what we're talking about. So don't overthink it. It's not complicated. Okay. It is like personal, how you would treat a friend, a neighbor, someone in your family, unless you have real serious problems. It should not be difficult. Okay. So here we go. Number one, first thing is confidence. Now, there's lots of different types of confidence. We have our self-confidence, but what I'm talking about is not just self-confidence or how to create that self-confidence in your business has to do with one important thing: research. Now, when I teach you about, any type of listing presentations, how to convert your buyers when you go through my Elevate course, I'm always talking about research. If you know what's going on in the market, if you understand what's on the market, if you understand the homes, if you've toured the homes, if you know what the prices are doing, are they going up, are they going down, what's available for clients to see, that is the amount of confidence that you need to be able to convert a client. Now, I'm not talking about confidence in, did I look cute today? Did I gain 5 pounds? What are they going to think of me when I go out and show them houses? That's not, that they don't care at all. The one thing that they care about is you having confidence in what's going on in the market. That's all they care about. And if you can have that, which you can easily gain, whether you're new or you're your experienced agent, either one, you have to keep up on what's going on in the market, and you have to do the research so that you can regurgitate the information to them. That's what it's about, is just the regurgitation. Okay. That's how you're going to gain confidence, so that when you approach, let's say a buyer at a gas station, you don't know they're a buyer, but you start having a conversation at a gas station, right, with somebody, and they're going to mention a house that just came on the market. You're going to know right away, oh, yep, the yellow house that I'm talking about. Yeah, the yellow house. Oh, yep, that one just went on the market. It's, about this big. Or you quickly pull it up on your phone so you can get the information on it. But you can at least have an idea of, oh, yeah, that house that came on the market, right? Yeah, we know that one. And if you really don't even know what one came on the market, just fib. Just be like, oh, yep. What what would you like to know about that house? And then you quickly pull out your HomeSnap app, and then you can pull up the information on the property and be able to get them the data on it. It's just enough to lead in to have a conversation with somebody, but also the confidence that you exert to people that is making them feel comfortable. And that's what we're trying to do, is make them feel comfortable in knowing that you know what you're doing so that they feel like they're in good hands. That's the type of confidence that we're talking about. So they don't care if you're 40 pounds overweight. They just care if you know what you're talking about when it comes to real estate. So there's a lot of comments that you see in groups all the time where it's like, what kind of car do I drive? What am I supposed to wear when I take clients out to see houses? Blah, 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 right? You know what? It's not really going to matter what you drive or what you wear if you come out with the information and you're providing more information than somebody who's walking around in fancy high heels and, you know, some get up, right? That you think is supposed to make a difference in what a realtor's supposed to look like. That's the misconception that people have, is that people care, and they don't. So my one tip I'm going to give you on top of that is, don't put so much dang effort into what you're driving, what you're wearing, how you're looking, what your profile is looking like on, you know, online, like your get up. Don't put so much, you know, worry into that, but you want to be putting out the value. The value and the information is so important. Okay. The next thing is empathy. And I'll tell you, we tried to find a really good acronym for these, but we couldn't come up with anything. It was pretty hilarious. My kids were helping. Anyway, so empathy. So empathy is that patience and understanding that you have with someone else's situation. And people can feel this coming from you when you can have empathy about what's going on with them. So a couple of things. You want to first dig into their why. When you meet someone, in order to convert them to work with you, you want to dig into, why are they moving? What is their situation? What do they have going on? And then analyze that to see how you can best help them. Right? What do they need in their life? Is it best that they move right now? Where do they need to move to? What kind of house do they need to buy? What's their timeline to sell? I know I'm kind of talking very quickly. I'll try to slow myself down. But ask all those personal questions, right? About what's going on in their life, so that you can figure out what the best avenue is going to be for them. And then also, sometimes just remember, sometimes the best avenue is not selling their house. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the best avenue is not buying yet, right? What if the best avenue is, wow, you're going to push it and your credit score is not really good enough, and so your interest rate's going to be way too high and your payment will be so high. Why don't you wait 5 months and fix it, and then we find a house? And the respect that you earn from someone when you can give them that honest opinion and put them above the paycheck, that's where your conversion comes in. Yeah. And the conversion that you get, that type of conversion, that's also the reason you're going to get repeat business and referrals coming. Because most agents aren't like that. They don't have the empathy. They see the dollar signs and they just want to go out and sell them something. They don't care what. They don't care, what their situation is. They just want their paycheck. But that's a one and done. And you're never going to get that client back. Yeah. Because you did not care for them like you should have. Right? So the pressure. So the second thing was, how can you best help them? Right? So dig into their why. Second thing is, how can you best help them? Third thing is the pressure. No pressure, but the right kind of pressure. So let me explain this one. So you have got to find that balance of not pressuring them to do something that's not good for them, but enough pressure to help them understand, if they won't get off the fence, but it's good for them to get off the fence, and providing that information. It's always the data, it's always the information to them that, is this a good idea right now, or why it should be happening right now, right? Analyzing that to figure out how far you need to push them and if you need to just back off. So there's a fine line there. I had a lady just last night offer on her home. It came in $20,000 under where she needed it to be. We could only counter up 5. So we're $15,000 short. She has a house that we already have under contract, and she doesn't want to lose the house. And it's like, okay, here's the deal. And she's like, well, I just can't go down that far. I can't go down that far. Well, technically she can't. She's going to sell her house. She's going to pay off a $30,000 car. She's going to have $7,000 left in her pocket. What more can you ask for? Especially because right now the prices are starting to go down in our market. Well, the longer she waits, the worse it's going to get. Right? So kindly providing that information that says, here's the data, here's the facts, take the emotion out of it. Here are the facts. Is this good for you? Are you happy with this? Will this put you in a better situation? Is this what you want to do? Right? And I know you would like more money, and I know that your desires would be to have, $25,000 in your pocket, but that's not what we're dealing with, and that's not the offers that we're getting. So put that aside for just a second. Here's what your scenario is. Can you be happy with this? And is this good for your life? You'll be and then you give all the positives. You'll be in a smaller house. Your utilities are going to cost you less, right? You've got a single level home instead of a 2-story. Like, what are all those positives to help them to see the bigger picture and not be on that emotional roller coaster? Yeah. So one way that you can lose a client is if they get on that roller coaster. I always say more like they're driving the train, right? If they start driving the train and you can't stop it, it'll run like out of control. So trying to harness that. So that's that balance of kind of applying pressure, providing that information, knowing where that line is, and you'll get better with practice, but then saying it with confidence to them too. Here's the facts, here's the data, here's the information, right? And then let's make a decision. Yeah. And kind of coaching them and guiding them through that is really, really important. Really important. If you are passive, I'm going to give you the opposite of, I'm going to give you the what not to do. If you are afraid and you think it's none of your business, you are wrong. Okay? If you sit back and want them to just here's the offer, make the decision. If you don't go that extra step further to provide more information, even an opinion is okay. I know that, right, legally opinions, yes and no, but it's more of the factual type of opinions. Here's this situation, and kind of draw it out for them. If you are afraid to do that, you will get people who aren't decision-making people, who will panic, who will quit, who will cancel the contracts, who will decide not to move, and it may be the best thing for them. But if you can't help them to see that, which is your job, then you're going to have a hard time. You're going to lose more deals is what's going to happen. You're going to have more things fall apart. You're going to have more buyers that won't commit, right? Because you're not helping them to commit. Everybody's not good at this. And what you have to remember is that we do this all day long. They do this like once every 5 years. So yeah, it's nerve-wracking. It stresses them out. They don't know what the process is, right? All of those things. But we do it all the time. Yeah. So harness that and provide that information to them so that you can be that calming voice, but yet that empathetic, sympathetic heart. You know and understand what they're going through and how stressful this is, but yet here's the information, here's the data. What choice should you make that's going to be best for you? Okay, so that is uber, uber important.
And Lisa, real quick, I think that one good thing that I've been experiencing is giving them permission to, which sounds, against what we should be doing, like not converting, but giving them permission to, at that point, not convert. Because I had someone yesterday who, because inventory is so low, she found a home that, kind of checked the boxes for them as far as space or whatever. And it was priced at almost 700, right in her budget, but it didn't work. It just wasn't the house. And she was really wrestling on the phone, like, well, maybe I should just jump on it because who knows when another one is going to come up. Right. And I think it was, for her, it helped that yes, you present the facts, but I gave her permission to be like, hey, sometimes it's just not the house. And you don't have to make it make sense for you. Sometimes it's just not. So I think that's part of it, allowing them that eventual conversion, but not having to like force it, just like you said.
Force it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads into this a little bit too. So holding them hostage, right? Not holding them hostage. So this comes up in a couple different scenarios. So you can, if you are, so listing, let's talk about listings. Okay. So if your client feels like you are holding them hostage in a listing, they don't want to work with you, and you're trying to force them to work with you, that's not going to be a good relationship at all. So I'll give you an example. So I went on a listing appointment yesterday. It was a house that had previously been listed. The client calls me begging for help. Well, can't help you unless you don't have an agent, right? He ended up canceling his contract with his current agent, and then I went in to go help him once he had the cancellation. So I go in, I sit down, I talk to him. I'm going over the paperwork with him, the listing documents, and he's like, okay, number one, the other guy did not explain jack to me. He said, any of this, like all this in the documents that you're going over, he said nothing. He sent me the documents and told me to sign them. That was it. He's like, so I had to read through all of it. There was extra fees. There was extra junk in there. He's like, and I didn't understand or know any of it, but the guy didn't explain. They didn't know the difference. They haven't sold before, right? So poor service and just shooting the crap over and saying, here, sign this, but not explaining to the client anything that's going on, anything about the documents, okay? So then proceeded to tell the client and threaten him that if he goes around his back, if he finds his own buyer, talks to somebody else, tries to cancel his contract and sell it, to somebody else and not pay the agent, that they would sue him. Sue him. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I was like, so legally, yes, that is a thing. Does it say it in the contract? Yes, it does. I mean, that you can be able to come back and sue for your commission, right? Get your commission. I'm like, but holy crap, like they just barely were going under contract. If that's what you lead off with, that client's not going to feel comfortable or taken care of or want to work with you. They're going to feel like they're held hostage, like they have to work with you, right? And I don't know about you, but don't tell me what to do. Because if you tell me what to do, I'm not going to want to do it at all.
Plus,
right?
that for that agent, that almost makes them seem more desperate and fearful
Yes.
and not able to conduct the transaction when you're already so like protecting yourself automatically.
Yep. Well, and so Dimitri just said, like, why did he sign with them? Like, because they're not young. I mean, they're probably maybe young 30s, but they've never sold before. So they don't know the difference. And the guy kept feeding him a line of crap. Like, oh, I can sell your house for this much. And I can, we've got this developer that will buy it. And I mean, just on and on and on. He just kept telling him all these dreams and junk, right? And filled them full of junk. And so then he thought like, okay, well, the guy's going to sell my house. So he signs the papers. So you don't ever want to come off to your clients like they have to work with you. And I highly doubt any of you guys that are here would even act like that or do that. But just know there's a flip side to this, right? Sarah. Okay. There's a flip side to this. This is your competition. So when we're talking about converting, you have to understand that there are agents out there that are desperate for the paycheck. And we may all be desperate for a paycheck. We may all need to pay our bills, right? But if your attitude comes up like that, or you pressure people like that, you just need to understand that when you go on a listing appointment and you are in competition with other agents, I actually will, if I know there's other agents that are being interviewed, I am so transparent with my clients. I will tell them, I will not feed you a line full of crap. You may get told, right? Like you could sell your house for $100,000 more. That's extreme. But you see what I'm saying, right? I'm going to come in. I'm going to prove the data to you, what we could be able to make an appraisal at, what's going on in the market, how many days we're going to be on the market. If we can't meet appraisal, we can't sell your house for that much. So I could tell you any random number because that's what you want to hear. But just because you want to hear it, that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. So I'm not going to give you false hope. I'm going to give you the actual information so that you're not let down, right? Because there are agents that will come in and they'll tell the client whatever they think they want to hear, and it's the bait and switch. They'll get them under contract, they put it under for this price, and then, randomly, they have to start dropping the price on them because it's just not working out, right? They don't know why. Well, because you overpriced the property. So the education piece that you provide to the client helps with the conversion. All that information. So that's why we go back to the very beginning, right? When we talk about research. Why do we do our research? Why do we know what's going on in the market? Why do we understand the comps? Why do we understand all that? Because that is so much of the data and information you can provide that helps you with the conversion. And if you say it, here's the other trick to it. You have to say it like you mean it. You have to say it like you know it. So if you need to practice it, practice it. But when you show up and you're going to talk to a client, if you say it apprehensively, if you don't say it with conviction, like I know these are the prices, these are the comps, this is what we'll sell for, this is how many days we'll be on the market. If you can't say it with conviction, they're going to have a hard time believing you. And everybody knows that, right? You can be told by two different people the exact same thing, but the guy that's got like the pizzazz, not pizzazz, but right, that says it with conviction, you're like, oh, I believe that person.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they're any different. It's just the way that you're saying it to somebody. So you don't have to be quite as crazy as I am. Not at all. But you do have to make sure that when you say something, you are saying it as if you know that it's true. And of course, you know it's true because you did the research. You can say it is. But no ums, ahs, possibles, nothing. Okay? All right. Follow through. So there's a couple things with this one, with conversion. So they may not be ready yet. It may not be time for them yet. You may need to have a follow-up plan. Just because they're not ready to buy right now, you need to find that way to follow up with them that's effective in order to retain them as a client. Because you just never know, like they could not be interested right now, so you can't really convert them right now, right, to buying or selling. But in a month, something could change. So don't discount that follow through or that, keeping in touch with the client, because things can change like this. So here's two different ideas of how to keep in touch with your client. Okay. Well, 3. I'll give you 3 this morning. Okay. You get a bonus. So we get 3 today. Okay. So the first one is, if you have sellers who are not ready to sell yet, take note. And I will let Sarah put this in her files too, in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
HomeBot. Like I sound like a broken record because I say this all the time, but if you are not on HomeBot, homebot.ai, I think is the site. If you're not on HomeBot, get yourself on HomeBot. Not kidding. So let me tell you what HomeBot is. It came out, fall of last year. HomeBot is an awesome follow-up system for people who own property. So anyone who owns their residence, we don't want our renters to be on this, but anyone who owns their residence, you want to have your clients, past clients, potential clients, anyone that owns a property, you want to have them in your HomeBot database. What HomeBot does is automatically sends them an email once a month, so it's not spammy. Once a month, it sends them an email. And in that email, it will say their home value. It shows really awesome stuff, right? Like if you want to Airbnb it, what you could get to Airbnb it, it pulls their mortgage. So it shows what their mortgage is, their current balance on their mortgage, kind of creepy, but it does. And then it also will show their interest rate. So they can see what their current interest rate is, which right now that's still a good thing because you might get some people that want to refi. The rates are still down at 2.75, 3%. So it provides the information. It also provides like what people think is his estimate, right? But your home value for the moment. That's what that provides as well. So once a month, okay? This is an awesome tool because it's a great value-oriented way to keep in touch with your clients. You're providing value to them. You're not just sending them a random email that says, hey, how are you doing? right? You're providing value to them. Now, the one trick with this program is you have got to send a disclaimer email before you put your client on the program. Before. So in this email, and this is what we'll put in the files, but in the email, it says, I just typed up an email, and the email says essentially, hey, how's it going? Market's crazy, a little bit of a what's going on situation. And then explains to them, I've got this new program. I'm going to add you to it. You're going to get an email once a month. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to come over. If you're not interested, let me know. I can take you off of the list, right? So that gives them that option. And also, like, this is what it looks like. I actually send them a screenshot in the email as well, so they can see when it comes to their email, then they are already prepared, knowing this is not spam. Okay? So that will come over. And then, this is what's going to come in the email. And then there are 3 really important things that I say at the bottom, which is essentially the value is not going to be correct. It's an average. It's not completely accurate. If you want the value of your home, give me a call. Contact me. Email me. Right? If you want to know the current value of your home. So that's that open-ended offer for them to contact you anytime. And it's not a, hey, when you want to sell, give me a call. It's a, hey, if you want to know the value of your home, just let me know, and I can give that to you.
And the HomeBot system also makes it really easy for them when it shows their value. There's a quick way that they can email you about the value and they don't have to like go back into their email system, whatever. It's very easy.
No, it's super awesome because it is. It's like a one click, and it says, confirm my home value, I think is what it says.
Yeah,
and then you click on it and it emails you. The other cool thing is when it emails you, you just hit reply. Even though it comes through the HomeBot system, you can hit reply and it goes directly back to their email address. Yeah. So it doesn't take you don't have to go fishing for their email to try to reply back to them. Confirm my home value. It says, how's my neighborhood doing? Yeah. I keep getting people clicking on that. I'm like, your neighborhood's great. This is how many things have sold, But it's good because it's interaction with the client and they are really enjoying it. The other thing is, I also put in there, I just pulled it up here. Refinancing is a great option right now. If you're planning to stay and this is important, if you're planning to stay in your home for a few years at minimum, refinancing is a good option, right? It's not a good idea to refinance and 6 months later sell because you just wasted about $8,000 in closing costs that you can't recoup. So again, you're providing value information that isn't benefiting you. But because it's not benefiting you, they don't feel like you're predatory. Yeah. They don't feel like you're only interested in them because you want to sell their house, right? Which then in turn, they appreciate you and trust you and will actually call you when it's time to sell. So I guess 2 things. That's the 2 items of business that I put under there that essentially the disclaimer I've got is this market's been extraordinary and the values can change by the week. So if you're interested in the actual value of your home, I'm always here for you. So I'll get this put in so that you guys can use it if you want. Tweak it, whatever you want to do. But HomeBot, great for your sellers. Okay. And then the other way you can use that tool is if you meet someone who's not ready to sell, ask them just up front, I've got the system. This is what it does. Would you like me to put you on it so that you can at least keep track of what's going on in the market and what the value of your home is doing, what the trend is for the value of your home? They don't say no. I think I had 2 people out of 300 and some that didn't want to be on the system. So it's really good. The other thing is with it, the open rates are really great. So just so you know, an open rate for email, like a good open rate for email is about 30%. Mine hovers around 77 to 80%. Mm-hmm. So it is amazing how many people actually open the email. So great way to keep in touch with your sellers. Okay, second thing is you got your buyers. So if you have buyers that are ready to buy, we always put them on a search, right? Or if you've been in any of my classes, put them on a search. They can then watch the market, see what's coming up. You can go out and see it really quick if it comes on the market, right? If they are, let's say, six months to a year out, then you're like, ooh, do I put them on a search because they're not buying yet? So you should hopefully in your system be able to set them up on a search where they will receive an email like once a day or once a week instead of the second that something comes on the market, because that will overwhelm their email if they're not ready to buy. So what I would suggest is you take that buyer and you let them know, I can put you on a search. You'll just see what's on the market once a week. Or if you'd like to see it once a day, I can make it once a day. Then you can be able to just keep an eyeball on the market, see what's going on. And then when you're ready to buy, then we've got our list of homes, right? Stuff that's coming to you that you can be able to shop from. Okay? So get them on a search. If they're within a year, get them on a search. For sure. That's the best way to keep in touch with your buyers. Okay. Otherwise, the next step is you have to go to like a manual. Okay, here's my list of buyers, and you can either put them on an email drip campaign, which is okay. But if it's not personal and it's not providing value, then you are going to have a hard time converting that buyer. They'll end up just unsubscribing from the email because it's just junk. So whatever you're going to do, just think what kind of value can I provide to the client? Okay. This actually came up yesterday because I had a lender call me. They wanted to come, bring us some food, meet us at our office meetings, come tell us what they can provide to us, right? They like to come visit, which is great. And so he was already scheduled to come. Well, he called me back yesterday and he said, hey, how would you like it if we came and did a CE class for all your agents when we come out? And I'm like, dude, value. Yeah, because I get really sick of just hearing lenders come pitch themselves to us and bring us donuts, which we don't want, right? So he's going to come do a CE class. That's value. And that's the first thing that popped in my head was, wow, way to add value. First lender that's offered to add value to us. So figure out how you can add value. It makes a really big difference, and it will set you apart from every other vulture agent that's out there that just wants to buy, sell, right? And pressure. Okay. Gay just mentioned that she's had a buyer on a search for 2 years and they weren't ready to move yet, and they wanted to get to their retirement date, and she still opens the emails and they talk on occasion, right? It's a really great way to keep in touch with them. Okay, the third thing. Now I have to remember my bonus. Oh, my bonus thing. I remember. Okay, so for your sellers and your buyers, the follow-up, got a class I taught about follow-up, and keeping in touch with them, I say 3 times a year. So besides being on HomeBot or besides being on searches, we have 3 other times during the year that it is good to keep in touch with your clients, providing some sort of value, or I say love, right? Love in the mail. So the way that I do that personally is I send out, like in the spring, I send out a card with a home maintenance list and a $10 gift card to Home Depot. Now, mind you, I send this to my past clients. I do not send this to prospective clients. If my clients have invested in me, I invest back in them. Okay. If I have people that have not yet invested in me, I don't spend the money on it at that point. So I send that out in the spring, and then I'm getting ready for my summer, and I'm going to send one out this summer. Do you have the one from the summer? Oh yeah, hold on. I've got it right here. Just a minute. So what I'm doing for the summer is I'm going to, because what's relevant right now is not just sending out a card that says happy summer, right? What's relevant right now is, hey, what's happening in our market? Like what's going on locally? Because everybody wants to know. So I'm going to send out a newsletter or put it in a card. I'm going to send that out of, hey, this is what's going on in the market. This is what the trend is. This is what the interest rates are doing. If you have questions, give me a call. It is a form of advertisement, but yet it is also providing value to the client, right? And then what I did was, you can find this in my Facebook group, but you probably can't see that. Can't see it. Anyway, it's an orange. You guys seen these before? It's like my favorite little thing ever, so I decided to buy them. It peels oranges. It's got a little thing right there, so you can peel an orange with it. So it was a $1. I think we paid $1 a piece for these was all. And it says, Orange, you glad I'm here when you need me? And then I've got my name, my phone number, and my email address. And I'm going to send that out with my market update. That's it. Cost me $1. It fits in a regular envelope. Like it's going to cost me 55 cents to mail it, or whatever the absorbent price of, postage is now. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do for the summer. It's another hit, right? It's another touch, but yet it's providing a little bit of value. It shows that I'm investing in my clients. And then when it comes to winter time, Christmas time, I'll send out a non-market piece. So let me explain that. So these first two that I send out, they have my logo, they have my name, they have my email address, they have all that on there. They are a marketing piece, but yet they're providing value, right? When it comes to Christmas time, I'm not marketing. I mean, I am, but they don't know it. No logos, right? No email addresses. It's just my name. Send them a card, a little box of chocolates, whatever thing I decide to send out. I usually spend about $10 per client. And before I could afford to, I used to just drive around and just drop them off at everybody's house because I had, enough time on my hands and a few enough clients that I could do that. Once I surpassed, 60, 80 plus clients, that was kind of a lot to start driving around to everybody's house. But I mail them out, just a Christmas card. I hope you have a really great holiday, sign it, and some sort of gift. Okay. Keeps in touch. I compound that. Every client I've ever had always receives all these things. Doesn't matter if they bought 5 years ago. Doesn't matter if they bought this year. I'm always going to keep in touch with them. So the important part of that is in the follow-up / follow-through for converting, you are retaining those clients. They will remember you. You are top of mind. If they have a question, if something happens, they have a life event, whatever, they know how to get a hold of you. They can remember you. If you sell a house, and this happens all the time, you sell a house, you never keep in contact, you never call them again, right? Why are you butthurt when they don't call you when it's time to sell their house again? Because they don't remember who you are because you haven't kept in their life. So you have got to stay in their life as part of their life if you're going to expect them to feel comfortable calling you or even remembering your name. So that's probably like one of the number one things that agents do wrong is they just, close the deal, done, move on to the next one, right? They're in their house. Well, guess what? They're going to move in 2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So if you can perfect the follow-up, that's what compounds your business. So you are growing an actual business and you're not just always looking for the next sale. Okay.
And one thing I noticed from the online, social media piece of that is that when you send out those little things, like at Christmas time, I sent out brownies, you know what I mean? Like little things like that. Or those little orange peelers, like a lot of times they, a good percentage of them take a picture of it and post it on their social media and tag you. And I don't tell them to do that. I kind of send those things under the radar. Like you said, they were to actual clients, not leads. And just this week I sent 2 little brownies to a renter, but she's going to buy, she was a referral and I got a referral for her from New York and I didn't ask her to post it, but she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for thinking of me and tagged me. And so that's like, it just pads your marketing for the money you're spending to keep in touch with them. A lot of times they kind of give it right back to you by tagging you in it.
Yep.
So,
100%.
yeah.
100%. Well, and I mean, the reason why I found out that was so important in my business, it took me a few years to understand that and figure that part out, is because, and everybody asks, like, do you mail postcards, right? Like marketing, what kind of marketing do you do? Are you sending out postcards? Think about it. If you're going to invest, a couple $1,000s in mailing out postcards, those people do not know you. You are mailing out postcards and spending a ton of money to a very cold audience of people that don't care about you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who you are, right? They don't care about you. So if you're going to invest in the people that have invested in you. And if you're brand new, then just build upon it. Every single client that you close, start this as a habit from the very beginning, and you will see that it will compound. It really will.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing, hustle. This is like, I say everything's number one, so maybe I need to quit saying everything's number one, but all these things are so important. The hustle. If you cannot answer a phone call very quickly, if you cannot email back very quickly, if you are not on top of it, if somebody wants something, needs something, you're going to have a hard time converting. People are not patient at all. We are in a now society, right? Thank you, Amazon, for one click buying. Like, we have no patience anymore. So unfortunately, it makes our lives a little bit tough as agents, to where if somebody calls and wants something, texts and wants something, you really do need to be hustling to respond back as quickly as possible. Now, whether you can take care of what they want at that moment, Or if you need to say, hey, I'm in an appointment, I'll get back to you in 45 minutes. Set that expectation for when they're going to hear from you, then they'll be okay. But if you just tell yourself, oh, I can't answer this right now, and I'll get back to them in 45 minutes, they don't know that, right? You can't assume that they know that you'll get back to them. They will get impatient. They will call someone else. Right there. You lose your conversion. So it's a simple act. It makes you feel like you're a little crazy sometimes if it gets busy and you have people texting and calling and asking for things. But as much as you can, text back and just say, hey, I'll get back to you at this time. Then the expectation is set. Then they know when you're going to call. Okay? It doesn't mean that you have to like frantically call right that second. But you do have to communicate. So in that hustling, it's the communication, the over communicating. You really can't over communicate in this business with your clients. Most people under communicate, and that becomes a big problem. It really does. So there you have it. Seems simple. It seems simple, but it's true. Like it's 100% true what you can do in your business. And it may seem simple. It doesn't cost you anything to do any of this. It doesn't. It's not flashy. It doesn't have to be flashy. Just trust in the process. The process works. It really does. So, does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, what are you guys' questions? Don't be shy now. If not, I have just two that came in, so we could start off with mine. And
actually,
pull this up here. So this person says that they've been, oh, hey, Nicole, I see your pretty face. Is she asking a question?
I was.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Hi.
Hi.
I think my biggest challenge has been, when you do get some leads to like Facebook ads or any other ads that you do get, my challenge has always been, how do I get them on the phone? I can call, I can text, I can email, and they're not responsive, or they don't want to even give me the time of day to listen to like what I think I struggle with. What do I say that could be effective to get the first response, to even get the opportunity to convert?
Okay. So there are definitely different types of leads, right? We have different types of leads, and what you do have to be careful of is how much time you are spending on people. You don't want to beat your head against the wall, essentially, if it's not going to be going anywhere at the moment. So my suggestion, call, text, email, right? Or get it set up on, like I know we've got in our program, we're getting it set up on the Zapier system where we're zapping it into an auto respond email, auto text, and a drip campaign. You still try to call, but at least you're not beating your head against the wall, wasting time. You don't want to waste time with people that aren't ready to do something yet. If they're ready to do something, they'd answer the phone, right? But if they aren't ready to do something, you need to get set up on a system that's a little bit more automated, Nicole, so that you're not wasting your time on people that aren't ready to do something yet.
Yeah, so I do have campaigns set up and everything, but I guess, I don't know, maybe it's not an effective campaign either. So
Yeah.
I gotta evaluate.
It does matter. Yeah, it does matter in the campaign. The other thing is you have to remember that you can't beat it at anybody, right? If they're not ready, they're not ready. So you need to kind of do an assessment on the person and on what you're doing to make sure that what you're doing is moving you forward. Because if you are spending time, like, okay, I'm going to give you a real great example. He's not here. I can pick on him. But I had to pick on Steve. He's in our group. So he loved to spend 2 to 4 hours on the phones calling leads like that. Okay? But yet, he hadn't done any follow-up with any of his past clients. And when he assessed his business, he was getting referral and repeat business. That was like the main amount of business he was getting. So if you're going to be getting your business from past clients, then why are you spending 4 hours on the phone with people that aren't answering? Right? Where are you putting your time and what's working? If it's not working, you need to pivot. You've got to change. You got to do something different. And this is different for everybody's area. I've got some people that say, Sammy or somebody said they do great, open houses. Like they can convert buyers like this at an open house. Caitlin does the same thing. She's really great at converting buyers at open houses. So where do you spend your time? Converting buyers at open houses. Don't try to do something somebody else is doing if it doesn't work for you. Find what is working for you. Just don't sit in the same spot doing something that doesn't work for too long. That's when you're going to burn out. That's when you're going to quit. That's when you go find a different job because you're not making any money.
And Nicole, one thing that, and I'm not the conversion master by any means, but one thing that I have found when it comes to cold, obviously Facebook ads is like my thing. When it comes to cold leads, is having one recorded video that you can kind of embed it in email, and it's just you introducing yourself and just saying, hey, it's Nicole with whatever realty, got your lead. And I wouldn't make it, you can make it personal. I used to hold up a sign with their name but then talk about burnout. Cause then every time a lead came in, I'd be like, oh, I need to find the sign. And so I just like made one and just said, hey, so glad to meet, let your own personality shine, whatever. But hey, so glad to meet you. Thanks for filling out our form. I just want you to kind of put a face to the name. And basically the call to action is, you can check out my site, or I'm just here introducing myself. There's no like, and normally I'd say make sure you have a call to action on everything. But for this, sometimes it helps for them to just put a face to the name, because if you put yourself on the outside, I don't like when I'm shopping for like cars and I fill out my information and they're calling me, I hate it, right? So if you put yourself on the other side, if sometimes a video is just, they see your face, they can engage with you and they're like, okay, this is a warm, normal person. It's not a snake oil salesman. And I have found a lot more people will reply to that email than any call, text, or email. And then from there, you obviously build and you do the calls and text or whatever. But that's like and there's a software called Loom that's like free. You can just record, as long as it's less than 5 minutes, record that and you just kind of copy and paste it to every lead. And that's a, simple way that doesn't take so much time.
At a time.
Yeah.
I'll definitely.
Yeah.
Vita wants to know where you got your orange peeler.
Oh, I'll post it. I'll post it in my, I'll give you the link so you can post it in the group.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Online somewhere.
Random thing. Vita, I'll post it in the Facebook group in a little bit. And I just want to let you guys know, and we'll see if you have any more questions, but if you weren't here in the beginning of our little session here, Lisa has a really good group called Boost. I'm gonna post a link, but it's called Boost and Inspiring.
It's short in the title, but yeah.
It's a title, but hold on. I'm actually going to post right here. And if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and ask her, but I am going to post this link.
What challenges do you guys feel like you have in converting? Does anyone want to admit what challenges you have in converting? Anybody?
Well, real quick, one question did come in too, and this is a challenge. And I can identify with this is I want to know what your opinion was. You hear varying, like from different real estate coaches telling you, hey, call. Then you have people saying calling is so 30 years ago. Like you really need to have a strong texting campaign. And so do you find that one really works better than the other as far as converting them, or what are your thoughts on that?
So it's got to be personal.
Yeah.
It's always got to be personal. So, text is good for a follow-up or for a non-response, but your first line of defense has always got to be calling them. Calling, leave a message, offering information. Mm-hmm. It's just whatever it is that you're doing, it has to be able to provide some sort of value to the client. And if it's not valuable, it's garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no two ways about it. You're no different than any other agent if you're just the same guy that's calling but not providing any value.
Okay.
So figure out for what your area is, what your line is going to be, but what your value is that you can be able to provide to the possible client. That's what you need to lead in with, is what can you help them with? What can, And using those words. When I call and talk to anybody, if I leave a message, it's, what can I help you with? Like what, or when you talk to them, like, what's your situation and what's going on and how can I help you? Right? How can I best serve you? How can I best help you? It's about helping. It's not about selling. It's about helping. And when you kind of switch your mentality to that service-oriented mentality, there's a switch that flips in your business. And it makes a really, really, really big difference in your conversion and in your sales.
Yeah. That's good. So basically it's kind of the content of the phone call that makes the difference, not necessarily the phone call versus the text.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you a case in point on that one. I've got someone who has a list of leads that she gets in for, I don't know, investors or something. So she has that whole list. Well, she put her child, might be like 16 years old, 17 years old, calling those people. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, right? And all I can think is, how do you figure you're going to get conversion when you have someone calling that doesn't have any value? The kid has value. Not saying that, right? But you're not providing the value. He doesn't have the data. He doesn't have the information. So essentially, why is it any different than, right, having that third party? Like, I got a phone call yesterday from a lender's call center trying to set an appointment to have lunch with me. Yet the person hardly spoke English. So they had to have hired him from like wherever, right, across the seas because it's cheaper, trying to call and make an appointment with me. If you don't have time to call and make an appointment with me yourself, you're not getting an appointment. So move on. There is no value in that. You don't value me, right? It's the same sort of situation. Whatever you do, if you're not providing value, they just feel like a number. They just feel like a paycheck and they just feel like a number. So
yeah.
Dimitri says, I wish I could find a better online lead source, or maybe I just need to put my contribution to what I'm doing. How long have you had your license? I'm going to put you on the spot. You can totally unmute if you want to talk to it.
Yeah, might as well. I don't like typing. So
Okay.
I'm going on my 5th year right now.
Okay. And what have your sales been?
This year we're actually, so prior to this year, they were horrible.
Okay.
This year we're actually doing really well. My wife and I work together.
Nice.
And we actually made top 20 in our brokerage last month.
Nice.
And our brokerage is like full of just sharks, not in a bad way, but they're really good brokers or agents. So, but again, we're all competition. So when you ask certain people, they give you BS answers because no one is going to share their secret sauce with you.
Nope.
And the one person that I really do trust, who gave me a little bit of advice without giving me advice, he said that, well, the stuff I was spending $10,000 a month on, now with this market, I have to go up to 30 and I stop listening because
heck, man.
But he's always number 1 and number 2 in the company. So he's making like $200,000 a month. So that's a little unattainable for me. But I'm thinking that maybe if I just contribute more to what we're doing right now, maybe we'll get better results. But it sucks when you do that and you don't get the results you're looking for.
Right. So so in units, number of units, I guess. So your client database, how many people do you have in your client database?
400.
A lot.
But so a lot of those people came from our previous business too, because my wife and I had dog grooming salons. So when we sold the salons, we took the database because these people already trust us because, I mean, you're bringing your dogs to us.
Right.
So we haven't really converted a lot of or any of our past clients from the dog grooming salon, but we do have them on drip campaigns. We do send physical stuff to them a couple times a year just to try to stay top of mind if something real estate related does happen in their life.
And what kind of drip campaigns do you have them on?
Well, you mentioned, I forgot the service that you had, but we have a thing called Home Beat within Cloud CMA. So we have them on that every quarter. I think we send out a physical piece of mail. We don't do a lot of email to those people just because, I mean, that's not how they know us. We'll do like a holiday email or something to them, but nothing really real estate related. We do that with our past clients that have bought and sold homes with us though.
Okay. I'm going to look at that home beat just out of curiosity and see how it adds up, I guess. Is that an email service? Sends an email to them?
Well, it does, and it's within Cloud CMA. So there's like, I think 3 or 4 different apps within Cloud CMA, and this is one of them.
Okay.
So it sounds just like what you were explaining earlier.
It does. And what I'm curious about is, what is the open rate that they have on there? What kind of interaction are you getting?
I'm horrible because I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good thing to know.
And I've been sending them quarterly too. So maybe I should step that up to monthly, since again, it's just information for them. I'm not saying, hey, let's go sell your house.
Yeah.
Right. So what I would encourage is, maybe don't get rid of that necessarily. HomeBot's like $25 a month.
Okay.
Super cheap. I would add that in addition to.
Okay.
Right. So we'll post all the information. I've got a link to that the guy gave me that is high up over there, VP or something, to get 10% off. So I'll gather all that and we'll post it in the groups, as well as the email letter to send out, to preface it. I would be very interested to see what kind of open rate you would have, what kind of engagement you would have off of that, because of the value that it's providing, and see if that sparks anybody, especially now. I'm going to say, I don't know what's going on in your area. Do you live in Dallas, or you just want to wear the shirt?
I'm in Las Vegas.
Okay. Okay. So I don't know what's going on in your area, if prices are starting to have some price drops yet, but whatever's going on, I would also put that in the email. So you're providing some value. This is what's happening in the market right now, right? And then I'm going to put you on the system because it's going to provide information to you once a month. Okay. And if you don't want it, let me know. I would do that. That's a really, really great piece of value that you can send out to those, and then see what kind of response you get back off of that.
Okay.
Because really, when you got a database that good, I don't know how your past client database is, and I'm sure we could totally get into it because I love to analyze it. So you're always welcome to call me. But if you have a good database of past clients, you should be having repeat business and referrals coming in. And if there's a disconnect there, then there may need to be something that changes as well, because you should be getting, that's great, working off that past client database, I guess is what I'm saying. I cringe when people say they're spending $30,000 a month. They're paying for Zillow ads. I'm sure, like Zillow Premier Agent stuff or whatever it might be, for a single, they may be running a team. I'm assuming, if they're spending that much money, but that's freaking crazy. Like, that is so much money to spend.
Yeah. And Dimitri, when it comes to online lead, like what Lisa's saying, or Facebook ads, or whatever you're doing online, if you're paying for leads online right now, I would never say up your budget. Specifically with Facebook ads, right? Because that's my experience. I would never say up your budget, because what lead sources like that are all about is the follow-up afterwards, right? So it's just like Facebook ads themselves are just a way to start getting more balls in your pile, right? You just want more balls to juggle. That way, when one falls, you still have 10 going, right? So all that is a system to get them in. So Facebook ads, while you're starting out, until you have a proven funnel, a proven conversion system, I wouldn't even bother spending more than $10 a day. In this market, what I have found luck on is focusing on buyers who likely have something to sell, because seller ads are way too expensive and they're way too competitive right now. So buyers that have something to sell are likely people who are upsizing or people who are downsizing. I prefer to focus on the downsizing, because a lot of times they're a little bit older, they're a little bit more financially stable, and you don't have like sadly, the extra work of dealing with like FHA and just barely hobbling through the loan process. That's what I have found to be working on Facebook ads. But I don't think the answer is spending money. I think the answer is like what Lisa's talking about, is getting that really good conversion system and follow-up system and all that in play, as many free or lesser cost things that you can get that really convert them, because more money on Facebook ads, all it's going to give you is more people, not necessarily more conversions. So that's where I would focus on, is your funnel, your entire funnel of all of it before you spend more money.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I do have another question then. So
Sure.
Facebook versus Google, like PPC. Is there, in my mind, I think PPC is a better option because these people are searching for something specific, versus Facebook, where we're all on Facebook wasting time and we see a pretty house, we click on it, and then I get your information and then you curse me out when I call you. And then with the way I'm wired, I'm trying to find out where you live so I can go have this conversation with you in person. That's neither here nor there. So I guess I'm asking, which one do you think is more beneficial, pay-per-click or Facebook?
So I'm probably not the best person to answer that question, because I'm not well versed in Google PPC yet. Now I will say the reason why I like Facebook is, yes, they are browsing, they see a pretty home, but the answer to that is to set up the ad in a targeted way. That way, when they're clicking on the ad, it's for a specific reason. So for example, with the ads I've been running for people who are looking to downsize, it's very specific. Hey, ranch homes in this area. And then I asked them not only for name, address, phone number, but also 3 qualifying questions. Do you have a house to sell right now? What is your timeline if you found the perfect home? And I think what areas, or something like that. So if someone is filling out 6 questions, that person has some, motivate. No one fills, even if I see a pretty house, I'm not filling out 6 questions to get information on it or information on a list or anything like that. So make the ads like higher quality rather than just getting a bunch of leads in. That's how to, make them a little bit better on Facebook, and then deliver exactly what they asked for. Now, and of course we can go down the rabbit hole too. Recently, Facebook has been annoying as hell with all the privacy things that they're combating with the iOS and Facebook. iOS is all for privacy. You've been seeing the commercials, the new iOS 14. Facebook is like, no, we want to know everything about you. So Facebook ads have been tough lately with that competition. So I've known people that have started to move to Google pay-per-click, but I can't personally give an opinion on which is better. I would say, try them both.
The one
But
that
for
works.
either one, you need a good funnel in place.
Yeah. I would ask you too, Demetri, you probably have enough sales too that you could sign up for like Ojo lead system. Have you done that?
I have not.
Okay, so I would encourage that. So the trick with any of these things is going to be the client retention and the follow-up post sale, so that you can get the repeat business.
Mhm.
So how you get the business, once you acquire it, right? It's that one-time acquisition cost, essentially. So with Ojo is they have a 35% referral fee on the back end. So same as like OpCity, but way higher quality leads. You
Okay.
do have to have a 24 minimum like lifetime sales number in order to get onto Ojo.
Okay.
But I've just closed 3 of them. I don't even want new business, but they come in often. And they're really good leads, people that are ready to buy. So whatever type of advertising they're doing is working very well.
Okay.
And they are highly qualified buyers. You pay the one-time fee, right, when they close, and then they're your client.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, they're theirs for 2 years. I don't know how you're going to track that, but But then once you get that client, so like case in point, my sister had one OpCity, and so she had to pay a 43% referral fee. Totally sucked, right? Really, really expensive the first time that they sold and purchased. But then they sold again and purchased again. And then they referred another person to her. And then that person referred another person to her. By the time she was done, I mean, she'd made $35,000, $40,000 off of this one free lead that she got that she had to pay a referral fee on the first time.
Okay.
So, and I can also, if Sarah wants to post, I've got a free lead sources class that I taught that goes through like all the different type, well, free and paid leads. But there's multiple Fast Expert. If you're high enough up, so if you're 20th in your area, then you're going to qualify, I'm sure, for Fast Expert to be able to get some leads in. That pulls like the top people in the area, and those are like a ton of seller leads. We're getting a ton of seller leads, and they're also vetted. They're really great leads that come in. Again, you're a 25% referral fee for those, but whatever, free business, right? Like some money is better than no money, and you're not paying upfront anything. You just pay when you close. So that's a good one. Anyway, I won't even we've been on here for a while, so
we'll share it. Yeah, we'll share it in the group.
We'll share that training if you want to watch it. I'll go through, the Zillow and the Realtor.com, like all of them. I've tried all of them. There's a couple that I haven't, and I just keep trying everything to see what works and what works well. But that's probably what I would say. I would start with that, honestly, before I go pay for Facebook ads, before I go pay for anything. I'd get yourself on that. You should be able to pick up 1 or 2 buyers a week, just that way.
Okay. And it's OJOE or?
Just OJO.
Okay.
Ojo Network. You can go look up. They've got a Facebook group, and then you can go sign up. I'm sure on their website is where you go do it. And you can always ask in the Facebook group. Mike Chang is the, I don't know, leader of some sort. So he usually responds pretty quick in there for how to get on the system. But good system that's actually been the best leads that have come out of anything recently.
Thank you.
So welcome. Welcome. All right.
Anyone else have any questions before we close out for the day? Anyone? All right, well, we are going to actually post this recording, and I'll email it out to all of you guys. I'll post it in my Facebook group. If you are in Lisa's Facebook group, I'm sure she'll post it. And if you came here from my group, go ahead and join her. She knows what she's talking about. She's amazing. So go ahead and join. I know she's always sharing some cool tips over there. And that's it. We'll go ahead and share all those links later on. We'll kind of gather them all up for you and send it all in one email. All right, everybody. So thank you for coming.